Hello, this should be video 3. In this one, I wanted to talk about mindfulness, or oftentimes in the West, when people talk about meditation, what they refer to, or what they talk about is something that they refer to as mindfulness. And I think that, I believe, I may be wrong about this, but if one goes to a meditation group, just to a randomly chosen meditation group, and there's, let's say, 15, 20 people there, and one brings up the topic of mindfulness and asks a question like, what would be a synonym for mindfulness? I think the most commonly held conception of mindfulness would be something like having awareness or giving attention. Yeah, so when we practice mindfulness, they might say to become aware, or they might say mindfulness of breath. So they might say to become aware of how the breath feels in the body, or they might say to bring one's attention to the breath, whether it's in the sensation or just the fact that it's occurring. Right? So there's a strong connection, I think, in the West, that mindfulness is somewhat equivalent to being aware or giving attention to. But the word mindfulness is usually the English translation of a Pali word, sati. And sati derives from another word. So sati is a noun, and it usually means memory or a memory. And it derives from another word, which means to remember or to recall. So at the root of the word sati is a remembering. So you might ask, well, so when we practice mindfulness meditation, what are we remembering? What are we recalling? So at least in the tradition of Buddhism, well, there's many traditions of Buddhism, but in one of them that I've studied, that there's often this idea that uh, if one has not encountered the genuine, the authentic Dharma, what is there to recall? What is there to remember? For meditation, mindfulness meditation is to remember that which is the true Dharma, that is meditation. One could sort of take away some of the baggage, the religiosity of Buddhism, let's say, and reshape that as, if one has not encountered the truth, what is there to recall in meditation? Whether the truth is a set of intellectual ideas, or the truth as in something that one has heard or read, or even the truth as something that one has experienced, a truth that one experiences. And so for those who haven't been exposed to or come across this notion of meditation as remembering, and in this case, remembering the Dharma, or if you don't like the word Dharma, you could just think of it as remembering the truth, that's what meditation could be thought of as. Let me switch my hands here. So I was so distracted by the football game. There's another football game on now because it's Sunday. Yesterday was Saturday. So yesterday was college football. Now it's professional football. That I turned the TV off temporarily. But anyway, so you might ask, well, so if one approaches meditation as an act of remembering the truth, it could take a cerebral quality of remembering, let's say, the truth of impermanence, and one can recall and reflect upon the notion of impermanence and death, especially in separation and loss, that all that is the truth of reality. But let me make sure I actually have some notes. Okay, so, but I want to connect this back to the poem. If one takes that poem, and I'm going to summarize the poem as everything is as it should be. And if one can accept that that's a truth, that if one, most people, most adults have probably experienced a time in their life when there was this deep peace, a deep sense of acceptance or alignment with things as they are, where one could have said easily, things feel as if they are the way they're supposed to be. And there's a deep peace accompanying that. I think peace is a mark of truth. That's how I take it. So if one were to accept that attitude as an attitude written by someone who had temporarily entered a state close to what the noble ones live continuously, or one could say eternally, then that, as I mentioned in the last video or the video before that, that one could take the poem as a teaching. Everything is as it should be, but that's spoken from a mind that's attuned to the truth. So one can approach meditation as an act of remembering that attitude. So it could be a remembering on a purely intellectual level, which has value, as I've suggested before already. But if one has the capability or the tools of meditation, one could approach meditation as an act of remembering and recalling and re-entering the state of mind that sees all of reality as everything is okay, exactly as it is. Everything is as it should be. Everything is as it should be. And so that's the attitude with which I wanted to sort of speak of meditation. And so this video forms a kind of a suggestion or a prescription for those of you who have a meditation practice. Remember, going back, the original question was, how do I relax, or how does one relax? And one doesn't need to stay on this poem, but one can take some fundamental attitude of things are as they are, and as they should be, and take that as a teaching. And so the meditation is one tool that one can use. And the practice isn't just sitting here, just noticing breath or just being aware or being attentive, but it's to bring one's mind and heart and being in alignment with that general view on reality. I think there's some, when meditation or some mindfulness practice has come to the West, there's been so much stripping away of the culture, what's considered the cultural or religious baggage, that meditation or mindfulness has almost gone too far and become kind of neutral, like a neutral, non-judgmental observation or awareness. But in fact, at least in the tradition of the Dharma, there's a component of bringing one's view in alignment with that which is true, or that which is the view as seen by enlightened beings. And so one can also take this poem as maybe glimpsing or offering a glimmer of that enlightened view. And meditation can be the tool to bring one to that place of really truly embracing that attitude and seeing things that way. And I would suggest, based on my own experience, that that does lead to one becoming relaxed.